Welcome back to Windsong 2. Has been a couple weeks, but we're back on it. We got the mooring set up, but now she doesn't want to start. Just fun. So Mandy's down there in the hole. I'm trying to fix it.
Trying to pull the starter off. I called a mechanic friend, and he said that sometimes when they sit, which it really didn't sit long, that the starter will bind up inside. So I'm pulling it off, and I'm gonna see if that's what's going on with it. And that's what I'm doing right now.
And that's that doohickey
So
right
that's
there.
this guy right here, and we're gonna pull it off, and hopefully I'll be able to turn it on the inside, set it back in, and it will work. Is this going to definitely work? Idea, because I've never done this before with a diesel engine. I haven't taken a starter off anything but a car since I was in high school. And
Oh,
there's that.
it's got to start somewhere.
Alright. And as he speculated, he said it was going to be rusty. And it's rusty. And it does turn, but is it supposed to free turn that way? That I don't know about. So we're gonna spin this guy around a bit. I'm gonna look inside here because now I can see inside the engine. And if I get a flashlight, okay, so look at that. Look at how rusty that crankcase is. I need napkins. So this is not great. What the fuck is all that? It feels like I'm assuming it feels like mud and dirt. I don't exactly know what that is. It might be like corroded metal pieces, like the rust, but there's certainly a fucking lot of it. Can I have a...
But I ripped out this settee that was here. We're going to need to access these thingamabobbers here. I don't really know what they're called. It's for the rigging. Don't know what they're called yet. So we got that on both sides, so we got to start ripping that out so we can get this rigging off the boat so we can get that replaced and fixed. Here I am in the aft stateroom. We kind of moved the big foam thing back here, threw a bunch of the sails on the bed. Seems like that was the best place, at the time. And there's the aft stateroom head. What we have to do is we have to access this side of the engine. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to rip out this tub, right? And I was hoping it was going to be easy, but my first lesson in boat things, nothing's going to be easy. Anyway, I already started trying to rip this thing out, and came out here. I was hoping it'd be in panels, so all I really have to do is take off this piece. But lo and behold, this entire bathroom is wrapped in this fiberglass insert thing they put in here. So I'm probably just going to see what's back here and just cut this down. And I think that's how we're gonna address this. But we have to get into this bulkhead. I suppose that's what it's called. Here to get to this side. This is a little asbestos in here too. So I need to be careful with that. Make sure that gets into the trash, appropriate trash. But I'm gonna let you guys go right now, and I'm gonna start demolition. Woohoo! Well, I think it's been about an hour. Tub is like freaking straight up fiberglass. Right? That's where I'm at. Which is not a lot, but it is what it is, man. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah, but this is just pure fiberglass and a pain in the dick to cut. Yeah. That's that.
So, here's our load of stuff we're taking off. Borrowed a dinghy for the day so that we could take off some extra stuff. We have a dinghy. Ours is just too small for some of the bigger stuff. So, here's this. Starting to cut out the bathroom and things. So, now we have to get some of the debris off. And right now we can't move the boat to a dock because the transmission isn't working. So that's fun.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the beautiful St. Thomas. Again, welcome. Well, it's now June 1st, I think. We had the boat for maybe a little under a month now. In that time, it's kind of been 2 steps backward and 1 step forward, if you know what I mean. We had our engine couldn't start, we fixed that. Now the transmission won't going forward, and yesterday afternoon the mast decept itself, fell in the water. So yesterday afternoon we're busy cutting off all that hardware up the deck so we can let it fall in the water. And I'm about to take you right now to check it out. I did dive down there yesterday to make sure it's all flat and safe for other boat traffic, but I'm going to take you guys down there today. Oh, we're going under a bridge! Woo-hoo! Yeah, guys, our dinghy is extremely slow today. Maybe because I have my dive gear in it. So, essentially what we have now is a motorboat that only goes in reverse. Alright, now that I finally made it out to the boat, so what happened was I was supposed to be out here like maybe an hour ago, but I forgot the SD card for the GoPro in my laptop. We're gonna go dive the wreck of Windsong 2 mast today. Didn't have my GoPro yesterday, or would have filmed it yesterday, so I didn't have to come out here today. But we're gonna go do that now. So I'm gonna get up on Windsong 2, get my dive gear together, set up, and I'll meet you back here when I'm all set up.
Yesterday around 2:30 we demasted. One of our friends, a local buddy, happened to hear the demasting. He was right next to us in the same harbor. So unfortunately both of us were underwater at the same exact time. We're at different companies on different sides of the island. So when we each came up from our dives, we got notifications saying that our sailboat had demasted and we had no idea what the destruction was. Luckily we were not on board. However, people very nearby did hear the demasting. So our buddy Walmer was on his boat, Big Naughty, which is a charter vessel that he works all the time, and they happened to move closer in our harbor. Like we said, there was a really big swell yesterday, and we're not positioned in the best place for a swell, but we're in the best place though that we can view the boat easily. So apparently Wilmer heard it, and before he heard the sound, didn't know what it was very loud, and he ran to the back of his boat and actually watched the mast as it splashed down into the water. He luckily got over there and tied it off so that it would stay sort of where it was, because the mast didn't completely clear the boat. So it was tied on with many stays, so we had to free, I think, 6 or 8 stays before we could get the mast completely free of the boat. And the mast was sticking out of the water because the water that we have our boat in is only about 27 to 30 feet. we did that on purpose. I mean, waters here are very, very shallow to begin with, but they're also, it was also a good harbor, like, and ran over, like, dinghied over the boat as fast as he could and tied things down so that there wasn't any more damage. By the time I arrived, which was about 5 o'clock, I got back out of the water, I got to the dock, and then I started getting messages. I got messages not only from Wilmer, which I actually don't even know if I got a message from him, but the boating community in the area was sending me messages. So I got a message saying from the St.Thomas ferry from one of my friends, and she's like, your boat has just been demasted, how can I get a hold of you? Somebody's on there right now, the guy from Big Naughty is on there right now and he's trying to tie it down. I got that message. I got messages from other people we've worked with in the past. We've only been here like a year and 3 months. Everybody like jumped on board and they took care of it, and they made sure that the boat was secure-ish. You know, like enough that the mast wasn't going to stick into the side of the hull. It wasn't going to do any of those things, and until we got there. When we got there, we looked at all the different ways that we could free the mast, because that ultimately was the only answer. The mast was sticking to the ground because the mast is 50 feet long and the water below us is 30 feet long. So we had a bunch sticking out of the water, and it was going to eventually cut into the mast or cut into the hull if it ever dragged upon it. So we decided to cut all the stays. We used a Ryobi angle grinder, or a Ryobi grinder, and I am wildly impressed by the amount of power that a Ryobi grinder has. Like, I didn't think that some of these stays, I mean, they're meant to hold like 1,000 pounds. They're strong. It's a lot of metal. It's a lot of steel or stainless steel, and I didn't think that it had it in it. So I didn't originally go there. We tried to free all of the cotter pins and the turnbuckles and all that, and we tried to do that first. But then eventually it was getting a little bit dire. Like, I didn't want to see the mast sit there all night. The boat was turning in a very wrong direction for the winds, and I didn't want the mast eventually to scrape down the side of the boat. So we took out the grinder, and it worked amazingly. Like, it removed, we cut through everything in, I don't know, each stay took about 10 seconds, 20 seconds maybe. It was super duper fast. So once we'd cut them, we left all the lines that were holding it to the boat. We had another friend come out, and he helped pull the boat in one direction while we pulled the mast in the other direction. So big shout out. Thank you, Will. We appreciate you. I can't imagine how we could have done this. Our little dinghy only has like a 9.9 horsepower motor. It was not going to do it. So thank you, Will, for pulling the boat in one direction, while Wilmer pulled the mast in a different direction, and we chose to sink the mast. So we sunk the whole thing. We just threw it on the ground beneath the boat and hoped that it wouldn't